to the bold analysis. When a high-profile assassination takes place, the mainstream media often pushes narratives either to justify the killing or divert attention from the perceived truth. And in this podcast, I will brutally delve into this developing story about the assassination of city lawyer Mbogu Kyalo as the probe narrows to names. And for the first time, the CCTV footage that was retrieved is painting a picture of what exactly is happening, of media diverting attention from the real story. Is this the killer? Let's find out. But first, let's take a minute, guys. This month, I want us to support these stranded students. The students you are seeing here are supposed to be in school at the moment. And I want to break down each and how we narrow down to this. The first student is Mercy. Mercy got C+. He was supposed to join university, but that was not possible due to financial challenges. And the parents opted that let's try probably to go to TVET and is supposed to join Kisumu. The second student is supposed to be in KMTC. He joined in the month of May, Muradhimi. And Muradhimi is due for second semester, but is also stranded because of fee. And the third student is Samuel. Samuel is supposed to be in Sigalagala, Kakamega County, but also got C+, but was not able to get to university, and now that's why he opted for that. And the girl down there is a girl joining a girls' school in Runyeges. Her case was brought to us way back in July, in April, when we were building a house for Mama Faith Wamboi in Embu. The father, who was the person providing for her school fees, got involved in an accident around Sagana and died on the spot. And from there, it has been a challenge. So we took it upon ourselves, guys, and I know most of you had really reached out to help on this, but we really picked this for based on different parameters. I sent my team who met with the parents, engaged with them, and narrowed down on them. Of course, 2 are orphans, 3, not 2, 3 are orphans, and 1 has 1 parent. Bright, but very needy. And of course, picked from different parts of the country. And I want us to support. That is going to be a project here. We are doing a 100 bob challenge. The plan is that on Monday, we can be able to sort out the Runyenjes girl and KMTC. Then on Tuesday, I'll send the team to Kisumu to sort out the Kisumu and Sigalagala, and God will bless us. We are looking at a budget of around 300,000. We are found kupeleka moja moja, but we believe that we can pull this. We've done this before. By the way, apart from them, we have the girl in Muranga, and I think we have 1 in Muranga, and we have 1 in Maseno. We have the girl in KMTC, Homa Bay, and we have the boy in Kirinyaga University, and many others. So thank you very much. Our plan is normally we adopt. So tukimaliza, I expect moja aseme Kevin, mimi nitakuwa nilipia Mercy, mimi nitakuwa nilipia Samuel, mimi give me so and so. And then from there, we'll link you up with Kawira and the team. We'll just be making sure that the fee is paid, just to inform you about it. And thank you very much, as we purpose to support them. Really stranded, but we can do it and we can push it. 100 bob challenge. This one, I want to update you bit by bit. I started last night. I already have, and I want to say thank you. I already have 11,000 at the moment. And so what is the deficit? The deficit is 289,000. Yeah, and I believe we can. The lawyer was shot 8 times, leading to his immediate death after he suffered the injuries. This is according to autopsy report that was done yesterday. And a very interesting twist in this is, out of the 8 bullets, only 2 were recovered. 2 remained in the body. And even despite the fact that the scene was processed, all the other 6 bullets were not recovered except 2. A question as to where the others, and people who can do very good investigations should tell us in the comment section, ni bunduki gani inabeba 6 ama zilikuwa 2, and again how you shoot 8 times and people around, it's a bit of a challenge. Now, I want us to look at the coverage of the Mbogu death since it happened, and this is where there is some, this is where my observation comes in. The Standard covered this story yesterday and were able to retrieve a CCTV footage, of course, narrowing down to alleged suspect who is in police custody here.
It is at 5:14 p.m. that his fate begins to unravel. CCTV footage shows Kyalo leaving his office, bag in his hand. In the lift, he is seen politely giving way to a man exiting at the ground floor. Outside the lift, another camera captures him walking out of the building at the exact same time, 5:14 p.m. But here, something stands out. A man dressed in a black jacket with a bag strapped on his back is seen making calls. Police are now treating him as a person of interest. The moment Kyalo car leaves the parking lot on Kaunda Street, the man is seen leaving immediately after. What transpired between that moment, 5:14 p.m. on Kaunda Street, and the brutal shooting along Magadi Road remains a mystery steeped in blood.
Having analyzed this story of Mbogu, in this story, the man who I've circled there, the man perceived there, is the man the police have allegedly arrested to probe over the matter. And without prejudicing, there is a bit of a question of who is this person who wants to execute such a high-profile assassination and will just be 2 meters or some 3 meters to where the person is parking. It's a question of close to where that person is. Probably even if it is monetary, even if someone is monitoring, that person could be tempted to be a bit far, not within the radius of a CCTV footage around him. And such episodes, these photos and such reports normally come in to give it a finality and to show that there's some steps that are being done, that are being made. But in the real sense, and yesterday, just to tell you that this is part of what the states want you to see, when Murkomen was talking about this case in Migori, he alleged the suspect in police custody, and probably he was referring to this.
I feel very sad, by the way, about that incident, and I am very interested in knowing what exactly happened in this situation, just like many Kenyans are, but also I am in a position of responsibility, and we have been in touch with the DCI, and I am happy to note that there is some progress that has been made. Some persons of interest have been identified, that those persons of interest are being interrogated, and many others are going to be sought. I pray that the DCI is going to be successful. We thank the eyewitnesses who have already come out, who are in the scene, and many other Kenyans of goodwill who are giving information to the DCI. I encourage more Kenyans to come forward and assist in the process. Anybody who knew anything that is related to this very heinous act to come out, because it is in the interest of us in the security sector and the people of Kenya that the truth comes out. And
so that was the first bit of it, of the CCTV report. The second other, of course you could see trail, but there is no CCTV from the point the vehicle left the parking at Kaunda Street. I don't know why, and I've been asking, I don't know why along that way, the trace, you could not trace how the vehicle left. I don't know why CBD someone cannot trace, because, and at this point, for someone to be shot at a highway, that whatever person did not come from, most probably, he was trailing this person. No, hawezi kuwa anatoka the opposite direction, because it is one way, it is two ways, so the other side na hii side. So hawezi kuwa alikuwa anatoka the opposite direction. And so this is someone that already been training. So if someone wants to trail the CCTV footage, there will be a more, there will be a more relevant CCTV footage of maybe 10 minutes. And I don't understand why such a road would not have the CCTV footages, but we're in this country. The second story I've seen is the narrative of court battles and loans and Shylocks.
The late lawyer had been blacklisted by banks and had resorted to borrowing from Shylocks and credit companies. In most cases, the interest on the loans acquired by lawyer Mbobo Kyalo ballooned to 10 times the principal amount. 5 years ago, Kyalo borrowed 10 million Kenya shillings from a Shylock. Over 2 years, he defaulted on payments, although made sporadic remittances amounting to 24 million Kenya shillings. According to a close friend who tried to mediate, the lawyer stopped paying altogether, and by the time of his death, he owed the Shylock 72 million Kenya shillings. In yet another case, civil case E284 of 2023, Kyalo faced judgment delivered on March 13, 2025 at the Milimani Commercial Courts. The dispute began in December 2021 when Korat Africa, a church-based organization, hired him to oversee the sale of 2 prime parcels of land in Karen valued at 250 million Kenya shillings. The entire purchase price was paid into Kyalo's farm account. While he released 153 million Kenya shillings, he withheld 97 million Kenya shillings. Korat Africa sued, demanding not just the balance, but also interest, penalties, and costs. In his defense, Kyalo admitted receiving the money, but claimed it was lieu for legal service. The final judgment ordered him to pay 97 million Kenya shillings plus interest, allowing him to retain only 8.7 million Kenya shillings as legal fees. Kyalo's troubles did not end there. A Somali Shylock, who had lent him 17 million Kenya shillings for a ranch project, was demanding full payment. The handshake loan had ballooned to 52 million Kenya shillings. And in August last year, another client sued Kyalo over 40 million Kenya shillings awarded through arbitration. The funds were sent to his farm but never released. That case.
I don't want to dismiss that this cannot be the cause of the death of a person. However, there are several questions that will still come at this point. Did the banks or the loan Shylocks who lent him money stand to gain from the death? How does he stand to gain? Remember, those are millions. The loans are presented as Shylocks. And my explanation, my casual understanding of a Shylock, even if you Google what is a Shylock, let me just Google and read. What is a Shylock? I want to believe it should have a collateral. You know, yes, this is what a Shylock means. A Shylock's Shylock is a Jewish money lender who, his contract with, no, is often depicted as greedy and ruthless character. No. Okay, I'm not getting it because I'm only getting AI interpretations. I want to believe in a Shylock, you need to go with a collateral. So the whole story, no one is mentioning, yes, I gave 10 million, but what was the guarantee, the collateral? Or was it just a friendship? And again, I'm a bit interested, how a loan of 10 million, the interest came to it becoming 72 million. Even though that one we cannot execute, we cannot pursue that because we never know the agreement. And maybe it was the agreement between the two. But then, will debts be settled after his death? That's a question. Will debts be settled after his death? And again, if you read that story, if you listen to that story, yes, it's talking about debts, and people have debts all over. And I want to believe for someone to have lent you 10 million, he had the capacity that you can win, that you can pay it. The other story, they are still in court. And I'm not saying some have said he's refused to pay. Defaulting to pay does not mean refuse to pay. So there is nowhere, probably an altercation, that the slain lawyer refused to pay the debt. It's just that he defaulted. And of course, he took the money, and then there's a complaint about the land issue. Well, all these are being mentioned. I'm listening to what Kungumi guy is saying. And I actually tend to realize, he's speaking more suggestive. He's actually pursuing a more suggestive lead. And he's saying the lawyer had evidence and audio about judges here and there.
It's a despicable act to kill a man like that. I don't know who killed him or why. I cannot pretend to know that. But what I can state is, in my statement, I had said Bob Kyalo is my lawyer. And indeed, Bob Kyalo was one of my witnesses who was going to give evidence about how various judges have been bribed with a lot of money. And he was also the custodian of very, very crucial evidence. He was holding 4 affidavits from our witnesses who either participated or were privy to the giving of bribes to the judges. He was also a custodian of 2 audio recordings, which were actually recorded when these judges were being bribed. It's a sad day, indeed a very sad day for this country, that we can lose somebody of the caliber of Bob Kyalo. He was a professor in law. I will not blame anybody because I really don't have an idea who killed him. But I have accused a cartel made up of the Shah community, Kenya Commercial Bank, and various judges in the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal and the High Court, that they conspired. I can call it a criminal gang. They conspired and they committed serious crimes. This was one of the men who was driving this case together with the evidence. Today, I reported to the DCI Director of Criminal Investigations. Because I cannot access his office, they told me it's now a crime scene. I cannot access his home. So I reported to the DCI that these documents and this evidence was in the possession of the lawyer. So I have requested him. I have requested the DCI that whatever they recover in the process of the investigation, to give me an opportunity, because the evidence, my evidence, the lawyer put it in an A4 envelope. We sealed it together and he wrote my name on top of it.
So about judges who took bribes in this case, in my case. You know, let's listen into this. Now, Kunu Migai is a senior leader in this country. And they don't really think he would make those statements as just allegations. I've listened to story. No one is highlighting his side of the story. No one is actually talking about that lead. Because I want to believe at this point, himself, he should be summoned and give a statement. No one has summoned him. If he had some evidence about so and so and so, you know, why aren't they pursuing that lead? Because I want to believe that is also very critical. This is not to demystify the fact that the others, the loan aspect is not important. But equally, I see this as a very key aspect that needs to be amplified. If you look at the media coverage, this story of Kunu Migai is not featured prominently somewhere. And in fact, even the investigators have not seen him being summoned. But it seemed to be so much, and it happened within a coincidence that immediately he spoke about corrupt judges. It didn't take long before a trigger came for the death of the lawyer. So I want to look at this and interpret the fate of these investigations and why really something is amiss here. But before that, I will still take a minute and remind you guys to support our September project here. Our September project is to support these stranded students who are supposed to join different institutions. One is supposed to join MTC, two are supposed to be in TVET, and then one is still in high school. So Form 2, so we are fundraising to support them, at least wao wengine wa join TVET, yule wa MTC pia resume, yule mnako high school in Runyenjes pia tuweze kumlipia. So kindly, that's why we're doing that, and we are asking you to stand with that. The probe was hijacked to salvage names. And sadly for the family, the truth will never come out. And it has never come out. And it's not a mirage that it won't come out, because it was not to come out anyway. The truth will never come out. Now, the government is not disturbed to my end, because there is something in these killings that comes out. And this is the fact that the arms in the hands of civilians. The crackdown should be, you recovered 2 bullets. You know, unajua, guns are, if you recover a bullet, unaona polisi mwenye unaona wenye natembea, hiyo bunduki ikipotea, hata akishoot na hiyo bullet ipatikane, from the bullet, they can trace the person who was holding the gun, even all the way to the manufacturer, the year it arrived in the country, and it can trace. I'm not seeing that aspect. Hata wakati wa protest, zile ma guns zile ma bullets zinapatikana. From that bullet, even when police imeua watu, from that bullet you can know who was the holder of specific gun. You can know. And that's why we were saying that it's just like they don't want to know. So I'm not seeing that aspect. I've heard them talking, and I'm not seeing, you know, someone getting disturbed, because it can't be normal that assailants in motorbike are just waylaying politicians and businessmen and lawyers along highways. And that is a case of a gun in the wrong hand. I am not hearing that. I'm not seeing the investigators really pursuing that aspect. And for probably me, that is my biggest worry. Even for the state, they should really be worried that there's someone, that there are several stray guns in civilian hands. Unless we want to make that look normal. And if making that look normal could be the biggest challenge. Now, the dates mentioned are in courts. What's the killing trigger? I'm not seeing any altercation that wamekosana na who and who. Yes, it has defaulted. It has defaulted, it just took long. But I'm not seeing a video or a report of altercation with his lenders. Maybe it's 72 million. I'm not seeing a point where the fact that it may increase, just saying someone has debts, does it mean who doesn't have debt? So the correlation doesn't seem to come in. And remember, it started from the meeting that this lawyer is the person amongst the people who met late Chebukati at that point. So I think we need to look at it. And again, the CCTV footage is showing someone who allegedly traced and then make a call. I'm a bit hesitant on that. If the law is to be trailed, I think who can be in a position to trail, even his phone call, to know which route he's gonna take. I don't think the trailing has to be done just like pole pole, like it has to be trailed like huyu ametoka so nikue nyuma yake. That is a bit more, you know, it's a bit more casual, even though sometimes that is done because even the shooters must know which is the safest place to shoot. And how do they know that this is the safest place to commit the heinous act? Really, something is not adding up. Guys, let's meet in the next.